everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Beyond Sports, where we BS about everything sports. I'm Tim Knaus. We've got Matt Freak, we got Sam Page, and we got Jason Summers, aka Sneaky. Lots going on. Well, not really a lot, but a little bit of NFL news going on. With we'll start with the franchise tag deadline. Start with Orlando Brown, passed up on his contract offer.
Yeah, I mean, really, this deadline passed with like big snooze fest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, the opposite of the rest of the offseason for the NFL that has been wild.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's actually pretty nice. I mean, it gave us time. I mean, nothing wrong with these guys.
I mean, they could have given us a little more to talk about right now.
It really could have.
What they could have done.
Now we got potential holdouts. You know, Jesse Bates from Cincinnati, key contributor to their Super Bowl run.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't sign a franchise tender. He hasn't signed it, so he does not plan to report to training camp, or he can miss it without getting fined at all. Same with Orlando Brown.
And Orlando Brown and the Chiefs both came out and said that they're hoping to get a deal done at next season or this season. Hopefully that's a good sign for Orlando.
Kind of what I was hoping for the whole time. Yeah. I was not convinced of Orlando Brown's talent in our system last year as much as I want it to be. And I would like another year to see exactly what he can bring to the table and if he really is good for our scheme or if he was better just in a run heavy offense in Baltimore. So let's see.
I feel like, if we can get a run game going,
that contract,
he'll earn that. But
yeah, I mean,
he's that run guy.
You need Clyde to actually hit the holes hard, and
that's a big deal right there, Clyde.
I mean,
it's not
there really didn't seem to be a problem once Jerick McKinnon went in.
Yeah, no. I mean, just the thing with Clyde is
good. He was falling forward for 6
years. I like the player. It's questionable draft pick to take a running back in the first round when you're a pass heavy team.
Yeah.
Especially, so, I mean, maybe this year he's one of those guys that can fill that Tyreek Hill void. Maybe you get him a little more involved and we get more of that traditional Andy Reid throwback Philly system where it's Brian Westbrook feasted and Clyde reminds me a lot of
but
Brian Westbrook.
It ain't 2005 no more.
Yeah, but I mean, Andy's always been ahead of the curve. I mean, it's still be the same system. You would just get more passes, more screens to the running backs instead of, just something that he hasn't.
I feel like in our system, we have seen that you can kind of plug in any running back.
Yeah.
And they'll do well. And if they're very talented, they'll do really well, I think.
Yeah.
So you're right. Us picking a running back in the first round, we're not a team that struggles to find production there from kind of wherever. So that is a little baffling. Although I think we were really excited about his pass potential, like his game, his pass game potential.
Yeah, because I mean, at LSU, he was all purpose, I mean, he did them both. So that's really where the underwhelming part of his game is to me at the NFL level. It's just, I expected more of that Alvin Kamara, little Christian McCaffrey style, and we're really just like,
you're kind of
touches a game and move on.
You're hoping to get that dual utilization with him, and we haven't seen it that much.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, man, Damian Williams and Darrell Williams were.
It's just he'd be pretty nice if we had got him in like the 5th or 6th round. We'd be like, yeah, that was a nice pickup then. But we got him in the first, and even though we got you late in the first,
last pick.
I've got the tweet pulled up from Adam Schefter. It says no deal between Chiefs and Orlando Brown will get done today, but Casey was aggressive. Its final offer was 6-year, $139 million, 23.16 an average a year. That included a 30.25 million signing bonus, is 95 in the first 5 years, 95 mil. And then at the bottom it says both sides hope for new deal after the season. So
Yeah, there was.
Hopefully that means he's gonna sign that tag.
There was, there was
glad.
about 50 or 60 million on that contract that was just never going to get paid.
Yeah, I was say there was reported that there was some wording on that contract that that Orlando side didn't love, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that it had those back ends because I mean, with us and offensive linemen,
yeah,
we like to keep a fresh crop coming in as well every so often.
Yeah, I mean, we're-
And I could definitely see us doing about 3 years of a 5 year and then
we're another.
either restructuring or cutting.
That's another one of those positions that since Andy Reid's been here, they've had really good luck finding above replacement level at those positions in free agency through the draft. I mean,
Andy's always been good at, being able to fill offensive line. So
yeah, I mean, I remember being worried when we were losing Mitch Morse, in free agency. I was like, oh man, that could be a big loss. And it just it didn't seem like we missed any beats there at all.
I
Same
think
with
the good news in all this is it seems like the Chiefs and Orlando Brown, like everything's kosher.
Yeah.
Like nobody's mad at each other or anything like that. So
it sounds like he'll
it doesn't
play.
look like Orlando Brown's trying to get out.
No.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, I think that's just Orlando Brown. He's betting on himself and good for him. Like
Absolutely.
He also-
saying, you know what? I know that maybe my play last year, when you look at the stats, is not what I'm asking for, but I know that I'm worth what I'm asking for.
I mean, he was
I'm gonna
great for
go
the
out and I'm
Ravens.
gonna prove it this year while taking a good amount because you're on the franchise tag. That's not a small amount of money. So, good for.
I mean, the guy's should only get better at that position, having only played it for what, a year and a half now as a
And
full-time starter at the NFL level.
And being in our system a year, I think, really helps. Andy Reid is, of course, like a master with offensive line, as we've been saying.
And this is also his agent's first contract deal, so he's trying to prove himself as an agent as well.
Yeah, good.
So
well, hey,
hopefully it works out for him. Honestly, I mean,
yeah.
Hopefully he goes out there.
I mean, I think he's deserving of big money. I don't know that he's worth more than Trent Williams.
Yeah, and I hope he goes out there and earns a contract bigger than Trent Williams. That's honestly, I mean, that's the hope here. You hope that he goes out there and he says, "Yeah, you guys, I was right. I deserve more than you offered, and I put it on tape that I am
And
that."
you know
good.
what? If he is that good, he could even ask for a little more. Then be like, well, now I'm asking for a little more because you didn't want me. You didn't want what you could have. And to that, I would say if he goes out there and plays like he, wants his contract to reflect, then hell yeah, give it to him.
Yeah.
So I've also got Jesse Bates's reported contract offer before the franchise tag. It was only worth $4 million more over the total of 5-year extension than he would have gotten if he signed the franchise tag.
Oh.
So yeah, I can see why he did not accept.
Yeah,
for sure. But that's what he played last year too. Like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, what we've seen with you in our system is like,
good.
A B.
Yeah.
You're a little slightly above average, maybe.
I've also got the full.
You want an A+
contract. Full list of tags. I'm sorry.
I don't want my team to pay generational money for a non-generational player.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, it's something that we do a lot. So something we've made that mistake doing a few times.
Well, and the thing with tackles especially is like when you come into the NFL, there's not a lot. You're not going to get a lot better. Like if you're already starting at left tackle, like your skill level is pretty much your skill level. You might get a little better here or there, but like it's not going to be some massive jump.
I mean, Cam Robinson, from the Jaguars had a huge jump.
That's situational. That is
way better
too.
But yeah,
some of them are going to get better. Some of them are going to do better.
There's a lot of room to grow once they get better with footwork, reading the defenses, all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they develop different jabs and stuff like that. It's not as obvious when they improve, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna develop different hand techniques and stuff like that, but if that dude came to the NFL not knowing how to pass block, he's not going to be able to pass block now.
Yeah, I mean, and Orlando,
Like it wasn't from a lack of teaching that he couldn't pass block.
it's not like we were just getting shredded on that side on
No.
that play.
No,
Like,
no,
Orlando held up.
No,
on
I'm,
his
yeah, I'm
own.
not trying to make it sound like he's terrible.
Yeah.
No, he's not. And like,
I'm just saying where he's at is probably about where he's going to be.
you think maybe we'll see what he does this year. I don't know, another year in the system. Maybe he can prove himself and take that step
mean-
up. Let's see. He's still a young guy. He's not, come on.
And he was playing that the whole offensive
Like you said-
line was young last year, so the whole line should gel together. But
I
so I
think so
think
too.
you have continuity across the line this year, which last year there wasn't.
Didn't
So
have,
they
yeah,
should
they were brand new line
Hopefully-
last year, trying to
hopefully
work
they can come
together.
right out the gates and just be a solid unit. And
I am afraid with our
Well,
defense,
the
we're going to
three
see a
dudes
little
on the
bit of
interior fucking killed it last year. So
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a good sign. I mean,
those three dudes to Orlando's right all fucking killed it.
yeah, I mean, I'm saying I think that they'll all.
Hey, I'm
That's a good sign because they're all just going to get better.
Yeah, I'm just glad we got another year where we're not tied down to him for him to show us that he can fit in our system. So anyway, what's the net? We've been on him. Have we been on Orlando Brown too long?
Yeah,
What
I
else do we have in free agency that we
Well, I mean, you got
who else didn't sign?
you had Mike Gesicki, who could be a guy the Dolphins regret not getting locked down.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like Gasecki.
he's got.
Hey.
You think about the weapons on each side of that Dolphins. You got
Hey man,
Waddle, you got Tyreek Hill that are just burners, and now that opens up the
Yeah.
field for a tight end who's a pass catcher, and he's been solid the past 2 years. So
Gesicki is solid when he needs to be. He's not like
no, he's not upper echelon of the tight ends, but
No.
Yeah,
this could be a situation where the
he's top
Dolphins.
10.
Oh yeah, easily I'd say
Yeah.
top 10. But yeah, so I think especially with an offensive minded coach coming in too, the Dolphins are going to regret not getting.
Well, and it's going to
locked
help
up
too
right
with
now.
them taking Hill. They've got Weddle. I mean, there's 3 guys right there.
how much
running
is
back.
Gesicki asking for?
It doesn't. I didn't see any reports of what he's asking for.
Mm-mm. I'm not
on
even sure
USA
if they
Today.
offered him anything. I'm
Uh,
sure they did. Let's Gesicki.
And then another one,
Did he
another
say
tight
he
end.
play
I
on
think.
the franchise tag? Would Gesicki play on the tag?
I would assume so. He has stuff to he does have stuff to prove, and like I said, a new system. He should be
Yeah.
excited to play on the
Yeah.
franchise tag
All right.
right now.
So,
I think.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any offers.
Another tight end you said?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz from the Cowboys,
Oh yeah.
which that doesn't really say much to me. The Cowboys have a history of letting players play out the franchise tag,
Yeah.
so it's not
Yeah.
one of those situations.
Cowboys haven't been
That's
willing to. Cowboys haven't really been willing to pay anyone this year. I mean, they've got a lot of money tied up in their quarterback and running back. So,
Yeah.
but that.
That's enough on the Cowboys. I'm just kidding.
Everything
So,
else
I mean-
they've done in this offseason has been pretty bad.
Hey, we got another tight end with Njoku.
Yeah, he did come to terms though.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Njoku was tagged, but Njoku, because Devontae Adams was tagged,
That's right. Yeah.
Chris Godwin and Cam Robinson, they all signed big.
They ended
terms.
up okay.
But they signed it early in
I
the
don't
offseason.
think I ever saw Njoku's. I knew about Godwin's and
Yeah, I don't know full details on Njoku.
and obviously Devontae's not even with the Packers. So
Yeah, but he got his deal from the Raiders,
yeah.
like right on. Like, hey, we've landed you, and here's a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Njoku got 54.75 over 4 years with 28 million in guarantees. 17 is fully guaranteed at signing.
Njoku's fun to watch too.
He is, and that's a good story because they brought in his replacement, with a Hooper.
Yeah.
And he was the talk of the trade rumors just last year before the playoffs. So good for him.
Good for him.
Happy to see that they have somebody from that draft class. I want to say so.
Yeah, okay. That's
So that's our franchise tags so far. Huh?
And we found a good move that the Browns made.
Hey,
Tell me real quick if you would pay this tight end top end money. So last season, this tight end had 73 receptions, 100 on 112 targets, 780 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Wouldn't pay him top end, but
So you can understand Miami's dilemma because those were Gesicki's numbers.
yeah,
but I mean, it's not.
And he's 20. I mean, he's not old, but he's not young. He's 26.
Yeah, I mean, also think about their offensive line being the worst offensive line in football last year. They're running.
They
Their running
do have some
backs.
good wide receiver options.
They did. Their running back room was the worst in the NFL, or second to worst in the NFL last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kaseki can be better than that.
Yeah,
But-
absolutely. I think.
Again, yeah, he's kind of on a prove it deal here. So
Yeah, I'm just saying it's a good one for him. You know.
They're going to be happy they have him when the team when they play against teams that can double Tyreek and Jalen Waddle.
for sure, he's going to be something.
I mean, Kittle last season had 71 receptions, 910 yards, and 6 touchdowns. And some people consider him to be the best tight end in the league, which he's not because Kelsey is. But
Yeah.
you can fight me over that one.
fight me over that one. I mean,
Any
clearly-
viewer that wants
Kittle
to fight
played
me?
3 less games too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I mean, last year.
I mean, Kelsey only had 9 touchdowns last year, I think.
I mean, if you look at 2020, for
I mean,
instance, he had 6.
Tied for the lead
touchdowns.
amongst tight ends.
Yeah.
Longest-
Kelsey was 92, 1,125 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Right. And you're just like, yeah, that's sounds like a pretty average Kelsey year.
And again, Kelsey played 1 fewer game than Mark Andrews.
Oh, Mark Andrews.
So those are our franchise tags of the season. We could go on to week 1 matchup.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Baker
did we not
Mayfield?
cover this last time?
No, we did not.
Because yeah,
Baker
that
Mayfield,
that is going to be
Browns game.
that is going to be the best one. The Russell going back to Seattle is going to be fun, but I mean Baker playing against the Browns, even though it's in Carolina, be
Yeah.
better than Cleveland, but that one,
Baker's
Yeah.
gonna
It's
Wait.
gonna if they
cannot
can
wait.
fill that stadium, it's gonna be loud every
Is it-
time Baker does something.
that is that not going to be a Monday night game? Because come on,
No, the Monday night.
a Sunday prime time. That's
if it was in Cleveland, yes.
I mean, man,
I want to say it's
Right.
It's a bigger Monday night game.
you can't just put that shit on at noon on a Sunday.
on a Sunday
Man.
at noon. Because our Monday night's Denver, Seattle.
Oh, I'm smacking the table. That sucks.
I do not want to watch Cleveland and the Panthers week 1.
Yeah, you do, just because of the
No.
drama.
I
The
want to
drama. That's what it's about.
watch many of these games as I
No
possibly
matter, no matter what happens, Deshaun Watson will not be in that game.
No, but Baker Mayfield will.
Yeah.
And he'll be getting his revenge on the Browns, and that's what we need in
I
life.
hope he
right
puts up like a 60 bomb on him.
Me too.
now. Yeah,
I hope he throws for like 500 yards.
I do. Yeah, I hope he
All
just
good
shreds the
things.
shit out of him.
Hey, we
and
don't. The
something.
Chiefs don't play until 3:25 that day too. So
I mean,
Good, thank God. Yes,
It's going to be going hard.
horde.
I'm excited to
Hey,
see.
you think
Trey
Baker
Lance.
just fades to dust like in the snap if he loses that game?
Well,
No,
Like,
I mean, Matt
his
Rule
soul
is-
might. His soul
Yeah,
might
like-
just.
Matt Rule is
Who?
Baker's get out of jail free card this whole year while he's in Carolina, because Matt Rule is gonna be out of a job probably by midseason.
Hey, and this is going to be
Batman.
Cam's like 4th different head coach or something like that
I mean,
in his 5 years in the league.
fifth if you count Greg Williams, because his first year they
Interim.
because they brought back interim, because they were like, you know what, we should bring back this guy who's 1-31 with us. I think we can. I see big things on the horizon.
Do it.
I
think
can see it.
we
He
do
went 0-16 last year and 1-15
Dude.
the year before, but
And
maybe
then he
gets 2.
I know, and then he wins actually somewhat that night that year. You decide to keep him around, and then you fire him.
You know, he was just not. We couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
And then you put in Greg Williams, who actually kind of does work for you a little bit, right? Greg Williams was doing all right for you. And but you're like, we can't put you because, you know, you did like pay players to hurt other players.
Interim can be a part of that head coach, but it's 100% necessary with you, Greg. Like, you can't be full time.
No, we can't give it to you. It would just be too scummy to give that sort of title and
We have
clout
morals here
in Cleveland. We
We
have
lose with respect,
standards
dignity,
here in Cleveland.
like adults.
Okay, so we're so that guy on the offense, that Freddie Kitchens guy, you know how he just started calling plays this year?
Perfect choice for the head coach.
Head
Perfect
coach. Head coach.
Perfect.
See how that works out.
We gave him shiny toys, and he'll be great.
Oh, that does, yeah. And then you're like, oh shoot, that doesn't work out well. Well, okay. Let's bring in new coach, new GM, new everything. That always works out for the current quarterback. Bring in a whole new system. Okay, so you're not the guy anymore. They didn't draft you. They, you know.
I do think Baker ends up being somebody's Alex Smith.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
It's not
for
gonna
it.
be Carolina.
yeah,
He's gonna land. He's gonna eventually land in a good situation, a not dysfunctional situation.
heard a lot of sarcastic
Okay.
comments of Tampa Bay has Brady's replacement.
Yeah.
Potential replacement to Tampa Bay.
If you can go to a place like that
Yeah, well, I mean,
where the
market should be wide
quarterback,
open next year. So
yeah, where the quarterback retires or a quarterback gets hurt and the backup Baker Mayfield comes in and thrives because he's in a good situation. For
just
sure.
sign whatever team signs Sam Darnold, and it's a guy you know you can beat out. I mean,
For
I
sure.
still think Baker's going to be signed as a starter next year. It's just how well he plays this year depends on will determine how much money he's going to get.
yeah. I mean,
It-
Seattle's a team I could still see next year being in the market for, even if it's just for a stopgap Mitchell Trubisky type, you know, contract where they sign him for 2 years, draft a guy.
Yeah, is it supposed to be a good quarterback draft next year?
I mean, better than this year. I mean,
Well, this year was pretty bad.
Bryce Young at the top of it. I mean, so or close to. I know. I haven't dug much into the class. I just know Bryce Young's in it. I mean, Radler should be in there. If
I don't
he-
know. If I'm a bad NFL team, I'm tanking for Arch Manning right now. I'm starting right now.
You're starting now?
Starting now.
really should.
You still have
I would go out and win every
Well,
preseason
you-
game so people don't know it, and then just tank from
That
there.
might be what Detroit's been doing. You know, they're like,
they
you know
signed
what?
they signed the
We're-
knee biter as their coach.
what? This
Yeah, he
man-
was famous for that. You know,
Oh,
the,
yes. Yeah, Dan Campbell.
we'll
The
go
knee
out
bite
there, and,
kneecaps.
bite the kneecaps.
The ankles and the kneecaps. Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
I have
Most
a
expensive
nightmare.
offense in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. Like, don't
I have
make
a
it-
nightmare scenario in my head that he's going to the Oakland Raiders. I have this feeling he's going to end up in Oakland.
No.
but maybe Vegas. I could see him in Vegas.
Or Vegas.
I'm just messing. I had to take that.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm terrible with
Many
the
years
Chargers.
of Oakland, so
I'm terrible with the Chargers
Never.
still
Yeah.
because it just
Still
still
just number
doesn't
three.
feel right, and they don't have any LA. They don't
No,
have.
man. I have a feeling that Arch Manning will show up right at the end of Russ's contract with the Broncos, and he'll end up just going to the fucking Broncos again or some bullshit. Just because, you guys.
No, it's going to be
Can't have
Colts.
nice
It's
things.
going to end up as an Indianapolis Colts.
he's gonna sign up for the.
Maybe, but I don't know if they'll.
other.
Will they keep finding fill in quarterbacks until
Okay.
then?
Yeah, I mean, all they got to do, they
Yeah.
just got Carson Wentz a few years too early. 'Cause I think
Are
that's
they
a
gonna
perfect segue into.
are they gonna get Carson Wentz again through the cycle of Carson Wentz going, are they gonna be like, okay, we had Matt Ryan for a year, maybe 2 years out of Matt Ryan? Maybe they get 2 years out of him.
You gotta hope you get double what you got out of Philip Rivers.
Yeah. And then you can bring in like, I don't know, whoever's floating around.
Because I mean, what if you go back? It was-
Baker. I don't know.
You had Andrew
I'm
Luck,
staring at
Jacoby
the
Brissett,
table
Andrew
every time.
Luck, then Philip Rivers, Carson Wentz. Now you're gonna have Matt Ryan. So what? I think that's 6 consecutive years. The Colts have had a different quarterback due to either injury or some other fort. So yeah, I mean, they're just in a they're in what a lot of it's quarterback hell. They're in quarterback hell right now. They just haven't found that guy who can be there multiple years.
Right. And they have such a good team. They have
Yeah,
great
they
running
got
backs, or well, they have a great running back.
Great defense.
Their defense is incredible.
Young wide receivers that should be able to develop into studs. I mean, Pittman is a nice receiver.
They got everything they need to be
Yeah.
a very good team, except the quarterback.
Yeah, the
so-
consistency there. And I mean, changing it out every year is not always a good pattern.
No.
Doesn't lead to instant
So
success.
you gotta hope Matt Ryan can give them 2 years at least. Now, you got 2 years with Matt Ryan. You do not have more than that.
No. I mean,
That third year may look pretty ugly. So you gotta, I don't know what they do until then. Do you try to find a good guy in the draft later in the rounds? Trade up,
Baker Mayfield's gonna be available next year.
get Baker Mayfield on the bench
We-
after, whatever happens this year.
the Colts are going to do what the Colts
Mm.
do. Whenever it's time, they're going to tank, get the number 1 overall pick, and get the quarterback they want, the generational talent they want. They've done it twice successfully. Don't doubt their ability to do that. That's what they do best.
Well, they haven't been
Besides
doing it the
wasting
past.
those generational
They
talent
haven't been
careers.
doing it the past like 4 years that they've needed to do this, right? Since Andrew retired on him.
Dude,
So
They didn't want those. Those weren't generational talents. Those were just Trevor Lawrence. He's just some guy. Like, they could see through the fucking surfer dude appearance and
yeah.
quarterback
he'll be
factory.
okay.
And wide
I'm
receiver
really,
factory.
man, that is going to be so interesting this year with him in Jacksonville to see just how good that guy could be or
No,
can be.
Yeah, that wasn't actually what I think about Trevor Lawrence. I think he'll be pretty decent.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. You never know what that first year did to him.
Yeah. Is that
Never-
irreparable? I mean, is that damage just is it too late? I mean, so
Well, I think he said like, yeah, it can't be worse this year.
no, and I mean Doug is
I got the worst year of my career out of my way year 1.
Doug is a good guy to bring
man.
in after that type of coach. I mean,
I think Doug
followed
could
up Chip
definitely.
Kelly.
You brought in the worst culture coach ever, like the absolute like cancer to a locker room for the NFL in terms of building a good culture for a winning team. And I think Doug can bring in the exact opposite. Like, I think he is great locker room type of guy. I think the players are going to love him.
Think about it. Chip Kelly
Nothing
was
else.
Urban Meyer, but he got more time. Like he
And he had a slightly more success. Chip Kelly's first year in the NFL.
was very successful. He got to the
He at
playoffs.
least
The
went to the
second year.
playoffs.
He or not? Maybe no. We didn't get to the playoffs the second year, but he at least
No, the second year.
finished
you
with a winning
saw-
record, but had excuses because of injuries and
And you saw the league figuring him out, though.
Yeah.
And then by the last year, you're just like, this shit, you can't do this shit.
but Chip
Also,
is volatile.
trade-
Like
Trade for Sam Bradford like that. What the fuck was that about?
I mean, we'll think about it. He traded LaShawn McCoy for Kiko Alonso straight up. He cut Deshaun Jackson without even shopping him.
I know.
He alienated Jeremy Macklin to where Jeremy was like, dude, screw you. I'm going back to Andy. He did that. He destroyed that team in the blink of an eye. Like it did.
Yeah.
He's like, we just made the playoffs. Now let's just go ahead and say, screw you, screw you, screw you, and screw you. But we'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we made the playoffs and it was it was all about me. I did all of that, and
It was a hell of a drug.
yeah, dude. If I just replace all you players with the players that I really want, imagine where we could go.
We didn't need LaShawn McCoy. He traded for Darren Sproles.
Well,
Because Darren Sproles, the 5'4" featured back.
hey,
Great player. Love Darren Sproles.
don't
Went to
be
K-State.
talking. Okay,
Love Darren Sproles. I'm not knocking him, but he was a complimentary piece to that backfield. Imagine him and Shady.
and Shady, that'd be great.
Nice little tandem.
That would be great.
No, Chip Kelly was, and then think about it, I'm going to cut Deshaun Jackson for potential gang ties, but I'm going to give Riley Cooper a contract extension after being caught on tape throwing around the N-word.
Right.
I
Not a
forgot
great-
about
I
that.
have a negative connotation about my values. That's Chip Kelly.
That's
That's just following proto in NFL.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
question my
it was also Kaepernick's fault and with the 49ers, it was like, we're going to give you, here's your last 3 years. A coach that knows he's going to get fired, Jim Tomsula, Chip Kelly. But he sucked, right?
man. I forgot about Chip Kelly over there.
Yeah, and I mean,
That guy, I got another chance.
I want to say it was if you take Colin Kaepernick's final year as a starter in the NFL, his numbers were identical to what Jimmy G put up and then got the contract extension from the Niners.
Damn.
Yeah. Like
Well.
almost to the T.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know what happened there.
Yeah.
What is the next thing with NFL? Anything else? Or
We had a couple of things. A little bit of news with Henry Ruggs and his trial.
right?
The blood alcohol
Being able to use the blood
Yeah.
alcohol, right? Bring
will
that,
be
which
evidence, which
Yeah.
that's
Not
great.
much more other than that
Good on them.
with that story
Yeah.
at least. But I mean, that's
that just a
Why-
sad story. I mean,
Why
it's
you
yeah.
wouldn't be able to bring that into evidence? I don't.
yeah.
just because I guess
There was a little bit of sketchiness there, right? Wasn't there, P?
yeah, that's what they made it seem like. I mean, it just seemed like a last ditch effort, like they didn't do he denied to do
Oh,
a
they did it,
sobriety
like-
test and he didn't do a breathalyzer and then they
Till
used
like 3 hours later or something like that.
yeah.
But
So,
But it
know,
was still above the limit.
But
I
like
mean,
it's,
it was
it's
still
3
twice the
hours
legal limit.
Yeah.
later.
So
Yeah, and you've been in jail for 3. Anyways, yeah.
yeah. I mean, and all it's.
I think we know
it's a
what
sad
happened
situation.
there.
I mean,
Right.
it's the
Screaming
defense
and
the
it's terrible.
defense doing its job. So
It just seems like a young guy
trying
made
to, I
an
guess.
awful decision that
Yeah.
took away something a lot of people
Okay.
want and took away.
Well,
all that.
the sauce for that story too is he grew up playing with this other kid, and they were both going to go to the NFL, and that kid ended up dying in a drunk driving accident.
Man, yeah, that's
Henry,
rough.
Henry Ruggs dedicated his whole career to this kid, and then
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking that.
you do that. Or maybe,
I mean,
maybe he's got problems too,
Yeah, I
Addiction's a hell of a thing, man. We've known people that have seen their loved ones go through something like that and then do this,
yeah.
died in a drunk drive accident, then also go and drink and drive. Like, sad thing, but anyways, the next thing.
So
now
the
that-
next thing is next on the docket was Le'Veon Bell boxing.
Yeah.
No more NFL for him.
Okay. I mean,
No, he's stepping away at just the right time when nobody's making him any offers. He says, you know what? I'm going to focus completely on boxing because I got to dedicate myself 100% to it.
this seems like a good time for me to.
he also tweeted out this week that if he could go back in time, he would not sit out that year in Pittsburgh.
That would have been the smartest decision he ever made in his life.
Yeah, I mean, a running back can't afford to lose any of their young years.
No, I mean,
Yeah, that's a dude with a lot of
Thinking.
regrets.
Yeah.
A lot of anger.
Yep.
and he probably also wouldn't have signed for an Adam Gase coach team.
Yeah. Although, hey
following
man,
that.
look,
I mean, there's
He
more
get
to
paid,
his
the
sad
Jets-
downfall.
he did
Got
get
that money.
paid.
He got that money. I
He
mean,
got money. He made a lot of money from the Jets doing a whole lot of nothing. But
doing the
Yeah,
best
that's all
he can,
right.
being coached by Adam
you
Gase.
got, there's nothing
don't-
you can do there.
He
He also burned a lot of bridges after
He
his time
did.
in
He
Pittsburgh.
did.
Yeah, that's not gonna make a lot
burned-
of people
He
happy.
talked shit about every team he ever left.
I know.
Pretty much. Pretty much. So
I mean, he talked
He
bad
did.
about Andy Reid, who's known to be a player's coach.
right. He's
Yeah.
like the only player to ever talk bad about him. So tells you what you need to know about Le'Veon.
No,
Anyways, not really that important of a story.
No.
It's nothing.
I mean, that's all we have, unless there's anything else
Who's
NFL wise. Well, who's what?
Who's he fighting?
Adrian Peterson.
That's his first fight, Adrian.
Oh yeah,
Peterson.
that's right.
Forgot about
Um,
that.
Dude, Adrian Peterson though, right? Come on.
I mean,
Doesn't Bell though has a background in boxing, isn't it?
Yeah, Bell's used boxing for his cardio for many years now to get to NFL shape. So
Hey,
I don't know how common it is amongst NFL players to use boxing as
I'm-
that. So
I'm
maybe it is
still-
more commonly practiced.
Maybe Adrian Peterson's training against like 4 or 5 kids at once now.
I was gonna say if he's allowed to
No.
use weapons like
No.
a switch, I put Adrian
No.
Peterson ahead. But
No. Oh, you
I
went
mean,
there.
Le'Veon's
All right.
also an adult, so maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I think I'd put money on AP, but
Hey, Floyd Mayweather dances around and wins a
Yeah.
lot of matches. I think that Le'Veon will be better at avoiding a hit than AP.
okay.
Maybe.
But AP can like use his head as another fist.
True. It's gonna
Like AP can fucking, he can ram you. Bam.
yeah.
AP,
Yeah.
So
I
I
run him
maybe-
over.
I do it.
Just run him over.
Yeah, man. Or just like you can hit him in the head, but you ain't gonna knock him out. And if AP gets a good, if he lands a couple good hooks, maybe an uppercut, I bet he could lay out Le'Veon, man.
It will be there's at least some intrigue into something that is so not intriguing.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I get. Yeah, you can edit like half of this conversation out too. It's just like not that big of a deal. Until they actually fight, and if it's interesting, then we can really talk about it. But
Nah.
what we can.
Adrian Peterson's one of those players I lament that he was
Yeah.
such a piece of shit.
Yeah,
You know,
Because
they're-
what his career could have been. That's one of the scariest runners I've ever seen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
he was
rush
great.
for 2,000 yards after tearing your ACL and
Yeah,
what
dude.
week 10 the year before.
Right.
Just the way he ran, dude, it was scary. Like
Yeah.
if I was on defense, I'd be fucking terrified to tackle that guy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, he run you the fuck
He
over.
might fuck you up.
He
Yeah.
will.
And he was fast. I mean, like so much speed.
Yeah.
So
Like, yeah, I mean, so that's what it'll come down to: Le'Veon's finesse versus AP.
Well, I mean,
power.
AP and Le'Veon are literally. I'm looking at their weight and height. They are like neck and neck.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're both 6'1". AP's 5 pounds lighter than Le'Veon Bell.
really.
Yeah,
Do
And
they
yet,
have
I
weight
I
bands
still
and stuff
feel like
that
AP
on
get
there?
more power. But
I was trying to see like if it had their reach and all that, but I couldn't find it, so I just went to Pro Football Reference and found their
that's
latest.
interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Finally.
There,
I mean, that could be 100%.
I didn't know
different at
Le'Veon
this
was that
point.
tall. I
didn't either.
expected Le'Veon to be shorter than that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
anyway, we have to move on from this topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
We,
can.
we have-
I mean, that's it for NFL. We have a little bit of MLS news with it's nothing like crazy, but we've got Rooney coaching DC United and Donovan's a finalist to coach for San Jose. That could be cool. I like Donovan.
Let's talk about promotion and relegation. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about MLS. God, it's so hard to get into that league.
it can. I tend to really only follow it when Sporting does well, and Sporting is the worst team in the league right now. So
ouch. When did that
It's-
happen?
it's
I never
MLS can be kind of
followed,
jumpy sometimes.
weren't we like, for the most part, one of the best
Yeah,
consistently?
We were
Western Conference
consistently
Finals
up there,
for a
yeah.
couple years there.
Yeah.
We
I
won-
was at the game that
I know
took
we
us
won at
to
least-
the finals, and then we ended up winning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know we won at least one championship, right? Did we not
Yeah.
win more than that?
I think we won
Oh.
2
Okay, maybe.
recently. It's,
Don't follow soccer. Okay.
I prefer to watch a little more of the
Have been to one
other
game.
leagues.
It's incredible, the fan
It's
base.
fun, dude.
The fan base is
they're,
incredible.
They're
The-
fun to go
The
to.
games were a lot. Yeah, the game was a lot of fun to go to, but we
Yeah,
lost
the
1-0.
atmosphere's top notch.
Yeah.
just soccer.
It's I think out of all the sports that we have in KC, I think it's my favorite atmosphere to be in. I mean, Chiefs are always fun.
Let's say, man, Arrowhead, come on,
Arrowhead's
Come
always
on.
fun, but
come on.
constantly at a sporting game, I mean, something's constantly going on, whether a song's being sang or
A
you've
chant.
got
It was a really
drums
fun
going.
environment, yeah.
It's
Right.
the cauldron's always loud, but not much going on MLS
Okay.
wise.
Anyways, that's a lot of soccer.
That
for,
is
you
a
know.
lot of soccer, especially for Sam.
And you know what? He contributed to that
Honestly.
We can,
conversation.
hey, he did, and he's been to a game. I'm very proud of him.
I've been to one
I have too.
Sporting KC game. It was a
I've-
lot of
I've
fun.
been to a lot of them.
Besides the losing 1-0. Again, soccer 1.
I mean,
We're talking about how Barca is back.
you can watch a baseball game that
So
has
yeah, the last
a no hitter and the other team only scores 1 run.
Yeah, but that is a no hitter. Like, are you trying to compare soccer to a no hitter?
A
Come
goalie stopping 10 goals and not allowing one. That's a pretty big feat.
so it says MLS Cups.
Pretty big
for-
feat.
They've won
Okay.
2 MLS Cups
Okay.
in 2000 and 2013.
Yeah.
They got the Supporters Shield once in 2000, and they won the U.S. Open Cup 4 times in 2004,
win that a lot.
2012,
What is that?
2015, and 2017.
That's against
Is that sporting?
other leagues. Yeah, that's against where they play other leagues, and a lot of times the
Yes.
other leagues don't play their best players. So
Is okay. So 2000 and 2000. In 2000, were we sporting?
I don't. No.
at that
they-
point, I think we were the Wizards. Still.
Yeah, they were the Wizards.
Okay, as well as I don't think we were sporting until like 2009 or some
Yeah,
shit.
we constantly made a lot of playoffs, but
Yeah.
we only took the trophy. I
only
guess the one time.
2013, man.
Which that's crazy because I was at the game that took us to the finals and that we won, and that feels to me like a few years ago.
Yeah.
But then again, the Royals World Series feels like it was not that long ago, and same with the Chiefs Super Bowl win.
Right. I mean, the Chiefs was only like a few years ago.
I mean,
but-
it was only a few years, but it feels like 2 years ago, you know?
But the Royals now being, 7 years ago, you're like, shit.
Man, that is crazy.
I know. You're like, oh.
Well, hey, speaking of
Doesn't feel
MLB,
like it.
we do have some MLB
right,
stories.
Let's go. Let's hop over there.
We've got, I mean, starting out, we just talked Royals. We had the 10 missed games in Toronto due to
Mhm.
being unvaxxed.
Yep. That's embarrassing.
Very
What's
10
most
players of
embarrassing is
28.
Do it. 10, yeah.
Oh
It's-
yeah, P, you're right though. Whitley.
Witt's comments are the really bad part because, like,
Yeah.
look, if you don't want to be vaccinated, if that's really your decision, then like, okay, like I'll encourage anybody to get it, but I'm not. You can't force people to.
Yeah.
It's when you've got to
But-
sit there and talk about it and
When
double down.
Yeah, and when Witt comes out and is like, "Well, if I was on a different team," you're like, "Motherfucker,
I was
are
on a
you?"
good team. I mean,
If I was on a team that mattered, where I gave a shit, then yeah, I you know what, I'd probably throw my principles out the window and do that. But because I'm at this shithole of a place, nah.
And then he came back on that podcast.
That's what it
and
feels like as a fan.
he was
anyway.
upset about what he had said, and he misused his words, and then he basically doubled down on it.
But he didn't take back any.
No, the only thing he took back was he loves being in Kansas City, but he's always wanted to be in a World Series.
Yeah.
So basically just double down.
You're
on
not sorry about what you said. You're sorry that it made people upset, but you
Yeah,
don't you don't take it
You're
back.
sorry about the reception of what you said.
Right. You're like, oh man, I'm sorry people didn't like that. But
And
But I said it. I'll
honestly,
say it again.
his comments have reignited a lot of Royals fans on Twitter. A lot of people want him gone. They want.
okay. So
There was 3 of the bigger players they wanted. gone.
Benintendi,
Benintendi,
because
and
he is
Michael A.
already trade
Taylor.
bait.
yeah, and Michael
Michael A. Taylor
I
too.
believe.
Man, hadn't he been? I mean, yes, he'd been okay. Oh, I thought Dozier. I thought people were mad at Hunter.
Maybe it was Dozier. Maybe instead of Michael A. Taylor, it was.
I thought it was Dozier. So the thing with Witt and Benintendi is you guys are huge trade baits. There was already talks about Benintendi going to the Yankees.
Mhm.
That's out now. You can't go to any team in the AL East, the division where every single team is still in it, where every team is making a run, all fucking 5 of those guys. Like the worst team in that division is the Orioles, who just went on like a 10-game win streak.
Yeah.
Like and they're sitting around 500 going into the All-Star break. And if you're at 500 at the All-Star break, you can make a run in July and August and get there. So they just cut out all of those trade partners for us and them. And I think part of Witt's comments is trying to keep those trade partners intact, being like, oh, but hold on, AL East teams. If you want, I would probably not for the regular season games. I did say playoffs. So not the regular season games where you probably still have, because they're a divisional opponent.
You qualify, your reward is I get a shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's him selling us principles. I guess the only thing I can say is at least he's actually telling the truth of, that's where where you expect a guy to bullshit about something like that. He's at least being like, I don't want to get it, but you know what? If I was on a team where I'd be able to make the playoffs, yeah, my dreams of getting to a World Series are more important than my principles on this matter. That's what he's saying. Yeah. Okay, fine.
That could be a fun little segment. Things that we're proud that people, like he didn't lie about it, but kind of wish he would have lied. Like if situations where people didn't lie, but they should have.
Aaron Rodgers is just looking at him like, you should have said immunized guy.
You used the wrong word.
Snuck around. You should have tried to sneak around, man.
Yeah.
Not to mention too, I forgot to bring it up, but we also had 3 coaches unvaccinated that did not make the trip.
What the fuck is with? Is it just like
one was a hitting coach of some sort? I think one was a pitching coach. Not like, I don't think they were our main ones, but.
Dude, seriously, if you are on our staff as a pitching coach of any sort,
you should be fired, which they've already done once. So
I know they've fired one pitching coach already, and the pitching didn't seem to get that much better. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We can move on from Royals.
Yeah, it's sad.
I mean,
the big thing is
this year. So
how are we gonna now? I think you've basically cut our trade partners for Benintendi and Merrifield down to the National League. For the most part, because the Jays
Merrifield hasn't been that great this season.
Yeah, I know. So, but you're still looking for, he's a utility guy that can play infield and outfield, right?
That's
he can
true.
play second, short, and a pinch.
Short, yeah.
He can play right and left field for you. So you've got, and his base running abilities are great, right? He's great. He's great on the base paths.
For the most part, he's a guaranteed double.
And if you get him with maybe a talented hitting coach that can work on what his issues might be this year, who knows? So I think there are teams that would still want to trade Witt. Maybe he won't be worth as much as he would have been the past year or two, but. And then with Benintendi, you see all the same stuff of like, well, you've cut down our trade partners. So hopefully the fucking Dodgers or something want your ass, because now nobody in the AL is. Because now, can't risk. What if the Blue Jays do make the playoffs? And what if we have to go there?
And, I don't think they're going to allow a guy to be like, okay, I'm going to play on this team. if we go to Toronto, I'll get vaccinated. Well, I don't think they're going to allow just one shot. You're going to have
Yeah, I
to
think
get two.
there's you'd have to look up what if you need to be like fully vaccinated or if you need to at least have gotten one or
Yeah.
what the stipulation is there. And for people who are like
You have to be
mad at their
considered vaccinated.
Yeah, I think especially in Canada.
Be the
and
same
we
as
have
school.
do what? I'm sorry, man.
It'd be the same as getting vaccinated for us to be able to go to school.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously you don't have to get it for COVID, but the other vaccinations, like you can't get one version of the vaccination and not the booster.
Right.
And
Sure.
still be considered vaccinated. So
Yeah, I don't know how much they do it for, or like how they gotta do boost, not boost.
So enough
You have
of,
to be so many
of
days out.
the
Yeah, we can
Royals.
go.
Something I
sure.
forgot to add to our list, but I just remembered the MLB settling with the minor league players. I don't know if any of you guys saw that.
Yeah, I did.
They-
I did. They
over
got
wage violations.
because they weren't getting paid for spring training.
185 mil.
185.
Mhm.
Big number, man. Like it's spread.
That's cool.
So, I mean, that's good to see. Minor league players already, kind of fight to make it.
Yeah, they
through.
get some of those
So-
guys, man, make less than like, especially in the lower leagues, will make like less than 20 grand a year, or yeah, less than 20 grand a year, less than 15.
It's
you ever,
like,
you
you
ever
know,
seen anything on like the life of a minor leaguer?
mm-mm.
It's pretty depressing.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of constantly on the move. You're either on the road playing ball or getting traded, or maybe
Yeah.
you're lucky enough to get brought up to the next step, but then you're like going down again the next week, or even a day two or two later.
And some of those guys, they'll get brought up just so a guy can come down to rehabilitate, and then boom, they're right back to where they're at.
For sure.
So it's like you kind of get that
It's
quick
it's
little
a-
like, oh, cool, this is awesome, and no.
Yeah, I got to experience it. So
Yeah.
I mean, you never
think-
know. It could take 1 month of playing for the show, and you could prove yourself. But I mean, what are the odds?
yeah.
So
Yep,
next
yep.
big news, MLB, we've got Juan Soto rejecting his contract for the Nationals. Big contract,
Yeah.
kind of long.
Yeah, that
15
was
years.
the part, the 15 years.
I just think
But-
that had to have been a non-starter. You're like, dude, like the market
Yeah.
is going. We know TV deals and all that
Yeah.
market and stuff, streaming deals, all that. It's gonna
Yeah.
raise the price that he could make in 5 years. So
Yeah, you don't allow yourself to get locked into a number for 15 years now.
yeah,
Right.
10 years we've seen frequently in baseball with big
Yeah,
contracts.
Mike
but
Trout.
Mhm.
Mike Trout, what
Cool host
Harper got close to that.
at 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just doesn't make sense for a guy who's also this young to be like, yeah, let me lock myself down for the rest of my career
Yeah,
Well,
to a
Brian,
team.
here.
When you look at how inflation's going, like
Yeah. I can see why the Nationals would want to
that
try
money's
to
next to
get
nothing.
away with that.
Mike
Yeah.
Trout went 12 years, 426 mil.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just got too many opportunities out there to make more money later on. So
How old is Soto?
Soto's
He's like 24
young.
or something like
Yeah.
that. He's not,
I got one of the
Oh,
young
that's way too young.
yeah.
yeah. He's a free agent in 2 years. Like, see
Yeah.
what the market looks like in 2 years.
He's 23, so yeah.
20
Yeah, I mean,
23. Yeah.
you're still
he'll
gonna
See
be,
what happens
he'll be
when you're
24 in October, but still young.
I mean, as long as there's a team in San Diego, there's a team willing to spend bonkers money and they don't care. I mean, the Padres, they'll just throw money at free agents. We've seen it over and over, and they don't care if they get results. They'll just trade you in 2
Yeah,
years.
man. They'll be fun to watch though.
The latest I'm seeing on rumors is Yankees and Mets,
Of course. I mean,
both New York teams.
yeah.
For what? I'm sorry.
Yankees
Soto.
and Mets going after Soto. That's the latest
Okay.
rumor.
Sure, of course.
And I
Yes.
actually saw the Mets one earlier. I didn't know the Yankees were in it until I just looked.
Oh, I mean, is a huge free agent out there?
Free
Yeah.
agent.
I mean, you have to figure one of the LA teams would weasel their way into this bidding war as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, that's 7 hours ago. So
I mean, we're still early in this development. That
Yeah, the Angels still aren't trying to help Otani, right?
what's that?
I haven't seen.
Oh,
I mean, they're just an organization where like nothing they do really seems to work.
yeah, it's not like they've not spent money.
Yeah, they've tried,
Yeah,
kind of.
I mean, yeah, they've been pretty quiet on that front since the Trout signing, and biggest free agent I can think of them bringing in was Pujols.
Yeah, and
There we go.
you know, Otani just needs to please go somewhere else, man.
If he goes somewhere else, it's gonna be the Yankees. I mean,
I'm okay with that, I guess. Just
no.
let the guy flourish somewhere where we notice when he throws like how many games is he on double digit strikeouts in a row now? Like 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Where it's
insane.
it's fucking ridiculous. And he could win MVP and Cy Young in the same year. When we got to watch this fucker, you know, fucking tread water with the Angels and, you know, never sniff the postseason. Sure. Great.
You can tell that
It
this
feels like
this is
Otani.
the topic Sam is passionate about, because that's what he was good at, not hitting the table until
Right there.
Yeah.
I can't not do it. I don't know.
you're wasting talent at an extreme rate right now, Angels.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah, dude. It's like Dame in Portland. Come
Well,
on.
and I don't know
But
how
Dame's
good he
still-
still is, but they even have Syndergaard pitching as well.
Noah, yeah.
I don't know if he's as good. I mean, obviously
like
he's
he
probably
fell-
not as good, but
Yeah, I don't
he
think
fell
he's
off
like,
after that.
yeah,
'Cause didn't he get hurt pretty bad?
I think he
I
had
mean, he
like
did, he had some good years. He saw some good years after that, but I think you know he hasn't been what you know.
Yeah.
It's tough in baseball. It's
Probably-
tough pitching.
Yeah.
Keep
probably
it
too many
consistent.
games to throwing over Usky's head brought that talent down.
Okay. Anyways. All right. So that's baseball.
No, we
No.
have one more little story here with Seattle with 14 straight wins going
Oh,
into the All-Star
yeah.
break, which
Well,
is a
hey, look
record,
at them.
MLB record.
Look at Seattle, man. You know, give Houston somebody to fight with.
Could they
Right.
break the record
They already did.
for straight games?
Not straight
Seattle.
wins.
No, straight wins.
Straight wins.
Oh, that
Because
that-
what the A's did
19.
19.
Oh my god.
That was a
Because they
21.
tied. I think that was already.
21, I thought.
We can see, man. That would be cool. Hey, man.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Hard thinking coming off the break, but
Let the Mariners do something. That'd be interesting. The Mariners are never good, so I'd like that. Give Seattle something there.
Let's see here. I don't want each.
we want each.
No, I don't want each team.
Oh, no, you don't want that. That's
10 longest. So we've got, I guess New York Giants had 26.
oh, yeah,
1916.
All right.
Wasn't Moneyball about?
No, Moneyball isn't about that.
I mean, it wasn't about it, but didn't they? I thought they broke the record. That
No, they were going. Because I remember that streak that they were on then, and it was they hit like 19 or 20, something like that.
yeah, it looks like 20, and that
Okay.
20th game was against the Royals.
Cool.
Nice.
Does that mean we finally beat them to end their streak?
No,
Right.
we lost to give them 20.
we were
but-
their last win in that streak.
But who played them the next
I don't know.
game?
I don't know if that was like the last game of our series.
Because
Or,
right, did they just was
I-
it
I
the
see what you're
person that-
saying.
you know what I mean? Like there's a good chance if we were the last team that they beat, we were also the first team.
nope. Twins. Twins were the team that put
Fuck,
them into
all
the
right.
streak. So,
Well,
so that means they swept us.
yeah, which that was in 2000. Name a year, and that
Mike
would make
Sweeney's
sense
here. I know
for-
that Mike Sweeney
for
was on
them
the
beating
team.
us.
So
Sure. So that's like what 2000 through 2006, 7.
something like that. The year they did it was 2002.
Okay. When we were one of the worst teams in the league. I'm just
I
guessing.
mean,
I don't.
I mean,
I have
it's
no idea
Name a
what it is.
year. Name a
Yeah.
year.
Never 2003, right? Because we actually finished like above 500, I think, in 2003. That was one of the few guys. There weren't many. there haven't been many in our life. You
No.
can kind of count them on one hand, sadly. Just the years where we finished over 500. And 3 of them happened in a row with like 2013, 14, 15.
Yeah.
And then I think we went 500 the next 2 years and then haven't even been that good since then. Anyway, that's enough,
That's
we-
all
we
the
keep getting
baseball
going-
we've got.
keep going back to the Royals just because that's all we
I
fucking,
mean, it's our home team.
what we know.
that's what we sorry
NHL
everybody
news.
else.
NHL. Anything big going, Sneaks?
Not a whole lot. We got one big player movement. Johnny Gaudreau going from the Flames to the Blue Jackets, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Kind of a huge boon there. He's kind of a top player, and the Blue Jackets are just they're a small market team, not a lot of interest.
Yeah.
They just happen to offer a ton of money.
You'd like to see that, though. I
That's
mean,
pretty cool though. Go Blue Jackets. Who do they play for again?
I don't know. Do what now?
What'd you say, Sam?
Where do the Blue Jackets play?
Columbus.
Columbus. That's right.
They have
They're that
ugly-
Ohio
ugly
team.
uniforms.
No, hey, go
I don't
Blue
see-
Jackets. It's great.
The red, white, and blue uniform.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, moving on from NHL
right.
then with
Yeah.
And that was NHL.
get it, guys. We
obviously
talked
not a
about
big
it.
sports
We-
week, not a big
Johnny
sports
Gaudreau took a huge downgrade in his uniform. We'll say that.
So we've got last but not least the NBA. Couple
Yeah,
of moves.
yeah.
Definitely not least. Oh, the Aiton.
DeAndre Ayton proven the Suns wrong. You tell a man there's not a max contract offer out there for you, and you know what he does? He gets a max contract offer.
Yeah.
Well deserved. Heck of a player.
So yeah, Aiton seems a bit slighted. It would seem
Yeah.
from the Suns, who he thought should have been offering that in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
they cost him an extra year on his contract too. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause they could have offered him 5, so they could have given him that one extra year. Being
But he also can't be traded for a year.
true without his consent,
Yeah.
I love it for DeAndre Ayton. I mean, but there's obvious points of it where you're like, man, you wish they would have shown him that because he's a good player, and they.
is he going to be worth that contract? You think? You think he's going to?
I mean, he was pretty vital to their success. It felt
Yeah,
like.
I mean,
Yeah. But he was, when you look at those the championship team from last year, the run, obviously they didn't win it, but he was the 3rd best player on their team. And to give like your 3rd best player, I guess basketball, you can do that, right?
yeah, I mean,
Big
with the way
3.
contracts are landing right now, I mean, 4-year 133 isn't bad. I mean, look what Zion signed for, and Ayton's been on the floor significantly more and has had more success on the floor.
Yeah.
Obviously, when Zion's been on the floor, he has been very good.
Yeah, he's
Not
going to
sliding
be
him, but the team success for the Suns has been greater than the Pelicans at this point.
sure.
And Ayton, without Chris Paul, whenever he was the best player out there at the times without Booker and Paul, he puts up good numbers. So he
Yeah.
proved he can put up good numbers. He shoots a high percentage. It's just, I mean, you have an old school center that you took instead of taking Luka Doncic or Trae Young. So,
Yeah.
which that's a big pill to swallow. I mean, DeAndre is not those two players.
He's not bad. He's good. He's very
a
good.
player. He's just kind of an
So
old school player.
I mean, I can kind of see why the Suns are like, oh man, that's a big contract for a guy who is very good, but he's not the thing that's going to get you over the hump.
Yeah,
He could be a very vital piece to a team
solid
that
defender.
has something that's going to get him over the hump.
He provides you with more offense than a Draymond Green. So I mean, and Draymond makes a pretty penny. I mean,
Yeah. But do you have your Stephen, your Clay around him?
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the question. I
So
mean,
you've got Booker, you got him locked down. Chris Paul, does he have another year left in him?
yeah, I mean, Chris
Maybe.
Paul, you just hope that you can manage him to where when you need him the most, he's available for you.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing with a lot of Chris Paul teams is I just don't know if he's always been
Don't run him into the ground.
managed him correctly, you know. I mean,
Sure.
you've got to make sure that you don't run, and that's what a lot of people hate, you know, about the NBA. You know, you go pay, some people go pay a game and they can only go see one game a year. And if you pick
Right.
the wrong game, you might not get to see any of those
You're
super.
you're seeing the bench players. Yeah.
Yeah, and that would, you know, you're sympathetic to that, but these players, they do need the rest based on the way the schedule is and all that. I mean,
Yeah, I definitely always agree or side with the team and the player doing what is best for them to win or the player
Yeah.
to extend their career, you know, like
and it's a bad look whenever, you know, you look at those games that back when the Spurs were really big about doing it.
Yeah.
you would,
Game on,
Sitting people.
yeah, and they're sitting
mhm.
their big three, and you're like, well, that's kind of crappy, but you're like, well,
But you get why they do
they're
it
old,
and it
you know, they're
pays
bigger.
dividends.
Yeah, do you have older players? You want to save them for the playoffs. That's,
And I'm surprised they didn't sit Pop, you know?
you know, Pop's always on the top of his game. He needs
Yeah,
to
that's
be,
true.
And because when you go deep in the playoffs, you're playing like 100 games in that season then.
yeah, I mean,
So
and that's one of the big things with the Warriors. I mean,
yeah,
they're, you know, 5 straight years of going to the NBA finals. Like that wasn't huge. That wasn't a huge shock that following year when you know, Clay gets hurt, Curry gets hurt. You know,
Yeah.
Draymond just looked gassed the whole time. Like, yeah, they were gassed. Like they
of
did.
course you played a lot more than every other team has
Yeah, like,
in that time. Sure.
of course, they're going to be more gassed than the Sacramento Kings. They haven't been to the postseason in 17 years or something like that. Ridiculous like that.
Sacramento Kings.
They're constantly playing 82 games, not a single one more. That's their promise to all their young players.
So, we promise
They sign a player in free agency. They're like, how does
we
82?
will not overdo it.
They're like, aren't you supposed to be pitching me on a championship? They're like, no, we're pitching you on 82 games.
82 games, man. And then you can get, when you can go on your summer vacation every year because you will be done by, mid to late-ish April
Yeah.
when the playoffs start. So every year when the playoffs start, mark it on your calendar. You can go.
You are free to go. We don't
Free
need to
to
see
go.
you again for a couple months.
Mm-hmm. Just like when James Harden looks to see about when the finals would start, he'd be like, well, I know I ain't going to be there, so I can mark down go on vacation.
Did you make the conference finals? Because
Has he never even been there? He's been there.
he's been
I
there.
mean, I guess
He's been in the
OKC,
finals.
he was technically in the finals even.
But I was just thinking because the Western Conference
What-
finals, like he'll sit
Westbrook
there.
can do the same thing now. Like Westbrook can also be like, when not going to be there. Not happening.
I mean,
We're too late in our career now.
Westbrook, he fired his agent, parted ways with his agent he's had since 2008.
Well, okay. Are the Lakers Lakers can't trade him. That's an untradeable contract
But it's an
Um,
expiring contract, so it's not untradeable.
after this year, right?
Yes, it is not untradeable because you're not committed past this year. So that
So
does give them a light at the end of the tunnel, but you do need
mid-season, right? Are we talking
it could be
mid-season trade?
trade, but it could also be you might not see a Westbrook trade because they might have to take on a bad contract for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You may
Sure.
have to take back, and at this point, like, shit, I'll take the 47 million opening next year.
Yeah.
When he's off the books. I mean,
Okay.
just another year of LeBron's career that you're potentially wasting. And it's not even me just sitting here bashing the dude as a player. It's just a bad fit.
Yeah.
Westbrook
is.
and
I mean-
LeBron are a terrible fit.
I don't get why they thought that was
So
baffling. They thought that was gonna work. Anyways, that's That's NBA,
Yeah.
and that's all I think we got.
So
Things probably happened in golf. Some player in tennis did really well and won again.
So our question for everybody out there is, did anybody do anything in golf that we should have talked about, or in tennis? No,
That is not the question.
no,
Or-
no.
If you
Or
leave
in
as
Bocce,
question,
You got all
or
those players leaving for that Saudi league.
for the live league.
Yeah.
That is an
They're just going
interesting
to get
story.
paid whether they do well or not.
That's
Yeah,
an interesting story. That's a
Pretty good
you
deal.
know
yeah.
as far as the play in golf.
But I guess you
tell us
gotta
anything
hang out
interesting.
in Saudi
in sports
Arabia.
this week.
Something that we missed, not tennis or golf wise. Let us know.
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the alert bells.
Yeah,
Notified.
if you want.
and we'll see you next week.